kids, 3 juveniles that were doing that with the BB rifle. They have been caught, and they did go to juvenile. They all 3 did. Okay? So,
What age were they, just out of curiosity?
14 to 15. And one of them lived in the residence, and the other 2 lived in the apartments. So, okay, let me see. All right. Anybody got any questions for me other than BB?
You
Yes, sir.
mentioned Kappa yet.
Kappa, yes. Well, I'm not real familiar with it. But
I am.
Kappa, okay. Kappa is the Clergy Alliance Police.
Clergy and Police Alliance.
Mhm.
Yep.
And they do, if I understand correctly, they ride out with the officers. They're all volunteers. They're clergy from the local area. And they ride out with the officers. They have to go through training, and then they ride out with the officers. And should an officer have a call like a family violence or a suicide or something of that nature, then they want, if the person who's the victim or from the family or a friend of the victim would like to speak with the clergy, then they're in the car with the officer. They can respond from anywhere in the city to go to give that type of assistance. Is that
Also
right?
helping disaster relief.
Yes, and lost kids,
Lost kids, all kinds of things.
lost adults.
Also helping to educate folks in their congregations about police procedures. And, you know, why is the police doing this and doing that? Why aren't they doing this and doing that? Sometimes the pastor who's been through Kappa training can say, it's because that's their procedure, and know a little bit about the reasons behind it. And the other thing we do in our training is develop an enormous respect for the members of the Fort Worth Police Department.
Amen on that.
Thank you. Somebody had a question? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Phil, about a month ago, there apparently was a drug raid at the opposite end of my block, and they were growing marijuana. What can you tell me about that?
What street?
So, yeah, give me your street.
My street is Middlebrook, but the house is on Standard.
Okay. I can't tell you much, and it's not because I don't, because it's not top secret. It's not because they're going to tell you. I got to tell you. Narcotics never got back with me on what they did. What I do know is that CIs, or confidential informants, they'd been sent into the home, had purchased marijuana. And it was what they call a weed house, or a grow house. They were growing weed. It wasn't crack, it wasn't heroin, there was no pistols, there was no assault weapons. But they did take many plants away from the house, and he had a hydro top, you know what I mean, like the inside where they could grow marijuana on the inside. That's about all I know of that. I don't know how many people were arrested.
But the people, I have no idea who they are or anything, but apparently they still live there.
I don't know. I don't know.
I would like for them to be down at Huntsville or
I don't know if they still live there. And if you know much about Tarrant County and the way that they file, it could be a while. So, but that doesn't mean that there won't be another warrant, and then that's the warrant that I'll get. When narcotics does a warrant, I don't know about it, because they think that I may run and tell the back, or or there's a chance that loose lips sink ships, right? So I never know until after the fact, which is kind of part of my job. But if they do get a warrant out for the person who lives there, then I'm notified, because now everybody knows that, and then I'm usually the one who gets the search. Yes, sir.
How many apartment complexes are in this area that you included in those statistics?
That's going to be right at, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 11. Right. Now, some of them are extremely large, and some are very, very small. Very small complexes. Yes, sir. I think, yes, sir. At the back.
On the late afternoon burglaries of residences, is there any discernible pattern like
Absolutely.
vendor or something like that?
Absolutely. It's a team of 3, multiple cars, so we can never know which car they're in. Team of 3, and they run either, we've had reports of either 2 blacks and 1 Hispanic male, or 2 Hispanics and 1 black male, or 2 white males and 1 black male. So, but we know it's 3, and they'll park, drop 1 off, and then starts going door to door, ding dong, right, knocking on the door. After they drive the street for a while, now they may make large circles and do all kinds of patterns through the neighborhood. The times are 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. That's why I call it the late afternoon. They ring the doorbell, nope, nobody answers. Go around back, kick in the back door, take the property out the front door, load it in the car, and gone. Okay? Only one down on the Shadow Drive, which is not really y'all's HOA, is it? Or is it? Well, the way I look at it, my beat's different than the way y'all do. Shadow Drive was the only one that I believe was late evening, like around 7:30, 8 o'clock in the evening. And it was at the bottom of a court. And
In the cul-de-sac.
in the cul-de-sac. And kicked in the front door, went right in, got some stuff and left.
My father has had 2 ding-dongs, and by the time he can get up and get to the door, he's on Grants Lane, they're gone.
Right. If you are witness to something of that, if you see somebody, please don't hesitate to call 911. It doesn't, I know, I'm a citizen too. And sometimes I don't want to call my local police for something that I see. But you need to. Even if it turns out to be nothing. And if that patrol officer that shows up, male or female, has a bad attitude about coming out there, there's remedies for this. Okay? That is our job. We are here to respond to 911 calls. That's the function of a patrol officer. Like it or not, that's their job. Preventative patrolling, very few and far between these days. I'll be real honest with y'all folks. Our department is understaffed, and we have been for a long time. So our preventative patrol time has decreased greatly since I came on. And now those officers do run call to call to call. I will, no, there's no if, ands, or buts. The only shift that may have some preventative patrol time is going to be midnights. And those guys and girls, their preventative is from 3 a.m. to about 6 a.m. Then the calls start coming back in. Okay?
If we don't have concealed weapon license and someone's intruding,
It's the age-old question. If someone's breaking in my house, can I shoot them? Well, this is Texas, folks.
can I give a warning first and then?
Okay. I'm not your lawyer, and I'm not your clergyman, all right? That's your call. If you are one of the Texas residents who decides to own a weapon, it's your prerogative. If you decide to have it in your house, it's your prerogative. You decide to carry it on the street, you can do that.
Just don't shoot him in the back.
I'm not, if you're in fear for your safety, you do what you got to do. I'm not against gun ownership. Most officers are not. Most of the ones that I know. So, if someone's breaking in your house night or day, you got to do what you got to
With
do.
him having 2 of these episodes in the last 10 days.
And you don't have to have a concealed handgun license to have a pistol inside your house. Yeah, okay, that's just part of our Constitution. Yes, ma'am.
I've seen suspicious activity a couple days in a row, and I called and reported.
Okay.
And she wanted to know everything about me, the 911. Do I
Want to know
have to give this?
everything about you?
Yeah.
Well, yes and no. You don't have to give that, no. But
Imagine it's on caller ID. Is this something
No.
for you?
well, they'll know where your residence is, and they'll know the number that you're coming from, and they'll know what it's listed as. But believe it or not, people will live in a residence, and it's listed in the phone book under another name, and they never change it. Okay? 2, the more information you give to that 911 dispatcher, call taker, the more credible you become. And then we have a priority system, just like I do in my own personal life. I set my own priorities, and then I go from the top down, right? Well, so does our dispatch. If you're credible, and if you're giving all your information, and you're giving good information, they're going to send that up, and then the patrol officers who are running call to call to call, who are looking at what calls next and what's holding and am I close to something, and they pull up a call, and they may be 5 blocks from it, and they pull up a suspicious person call. And all it says is anonymous, black male walking down the street, right? Okay? Because that's a lot of our calls. Sees the second call, suspicious person, pulls it up. This is so-and-so, lives at this place, the description of this guy, walking this way, doing this activity. that's the one that I'm gonna go to, because chances are I can find that person